Testing 1, 2. Good evening.
Hi there. Good evening.
How many of you all enjoy thinking strangely? I mean, you know, that all your life you pretty much kind of prided yourself in thinking for yourself and not necessarily going along with what you've been told you ought to believe. You know, the rebel.
Yeah, the rebel.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad we're having a rebel meeting. Because, you know, you got to be pretty rebellious to believe you deserve to be happy all the time. And that you deserve love. And that you're not going to buy into the idea that you're a victim of everything around you. That's a rebel. You know. So we're going to be in chapter 21 on the course of love. And it's called Love Is. So I'd like to ask you to take a breath right now. Realize you don't have to believe anything that I say. You don't have to accept anything that I say. Some of the things I say you may find hard to believe. Some of the things I say may startle you, and you just might not understand it. And ask yourself the question, what do I want? Ask yourself the question, what do I want? What do I really want? What do I really want? What do I really want? Now, what I've been taught I should want. What do I want? Not what should I want? What do you want? Love is. Love is eternal. Keep breathing. Doing a little short meditation. Love is. Love is eternal. And you don't understand the meaning of love yet. And you don't understand the meaning of eternity. Because you think you are just a particular person. So you are time bound. You are time bound. You are time bound. You can realize the eternal even while you are in a physical form that's temporary. You can realize the eternal even in your temporary form if you can let go of your particularity. What does that mean? The particular is about parts, and parts are all you see. I remind you of what was said earlier concerning relationships existing from particulars and apart from particulars. I repeat that relationship exists between one thing and another thing, and that it is in the intersection of the parts that the innocence of what is in between is found. This will be discussed in more detail later, but for now, I return you through the embrace to the holy relationship but in a broadened form. The holy relationship in its broadened form is eternity. The eternity of the embrace. If the embrace is the source of all, if embrace is the one heartbeat, then embrace is eternity itself. Embrace is the face of love. It's the texture of love. Embrace is the taste of love. Embrace is the feel of love. Imagine yourself being embraced. Imagine yourself being embraced. And ask yourself this question. What am I committed to communicating? What am I committed to communicating? What's the thing that I'm committed to communicating? What's the thing I am going to communicate? What is the thing that I have to communicate? What is the thing that you know you have to communicate? You know you got to communicate it. Ask yourself, what will my creations express? If you're going to create something, what would your creations express? What will your creations convey to others? So you ask yourself, what will my creations convey to others? Because whatever you seek to convey, it's revealing what you believe to be the truth of yourself and the truth of the world. So I want to ask you to rest right now. Rest in the simplicity of the truth. And here's the simplicity of the truth. You are pure spirit. You are undefiled. You are unaffected by anything or anyone. You are unaffected by anything or anyone. You are given full power to choose. You are given full power to choose. And therefore, you are given full power to create your experience as you would have your experience be. You have been given full power to choose. And since you have been given full power to choose, you therefore have full power to create your experience as you would have your experience be. You have the power to create your experience as you would have your experience be. You have the power to create your experience as you would have your experience be. So you may want to say this silently or aloud within your own mind. Whether you believe it or not is unimportant. I have full power to create my experience as I would have my experience be. I have full power to create my experience as I would have my experience be. I have full power to create my experience as I would have my experience be. I have full power to create my experience as I would have my experience be. I have full power to create my experience as I would have my experience be. I'm going through the biggest consciousness shift that I've ever gone through in my life right now. And one of the ways that it affects me is that all I want is love. All I want is to give it, and all I want is to receive it, and nothing else. And I found out that if you go into any situation with that as a goal, even if you don't know how to do it, the situation will transform into love. It's a trip. Even if you don't know how to love, if you have the sincere desire to love, it will give you the exact same benefits as knowing how to love. So all you have to do is sincerely, 100% want what you're asking for. And then everything in your personal world will rearrange itself to allow you to have it. Try to use that energy for more than trying to get a car.
No kidding.
Including the car.
If you knew you were loved and you really knew that you were unlimited, then you wouldn't really be worried about anything. Would you say? So what are you committed to communicating is the same as saying, I'm going to convey to other people what I believe about myself. So whenever you communicate to somebody, it's not really about whether or not they understand you. I'm going to say this again. When you're talking to somebody else, it's not really about whether or not they understand you, because they won't. Because they're going to only be hearing their own thoughts about you. I'll say it again. When you try really hard to make sure you're speaking clearly so that someone understands you, it doesn't really matter, because they're only hearing their own thoughts about what you're saying. So why should you try to be really clear about what you're saying? Because you know you're going to be the one that hears it. And you want to make sure you're always telling yourself something that you want to believe about yourself, so that you can manifest it in your physical world, because everything that manifests in your physical world is coming from your beliefs about yourself. So you tell people what you want to learn, and you tell people what you want to hear, because they're not hearing anything you're saying. They're only hearing their own thoughts. Is that making sense to everybody? Yeah. Okay. Because you are so unlimited that whatever you focus your attention on, it becomes your physical reality. If you are a sad person, your reality is going to be sad. If you are a joyful person, the whole universe backs you up, because the whole universe is about love, and it's about joy, and it's about happiness. Let me say this again. When you want to be sad, you don't get any help. The universe doesn't help you. Nobody else helps you. When you want to be unhappy, you have to do it all by yourself. That's why you get drained. That's why you feel tired. That's why you don't have any energy, because you're busy keeping yourself unhappy. And it takes a lot of energy. And you have to watch what you eat. But once you decide that you only want to be an instrument for God to work through in the world, then all things work together for your good, because now you are finally in alignment with all that is. And so therefore you can get help from the universe in everything you're trying to do. So we're on page 192. It's funny, the Course in Miracles says that in the end, what you're going to say is the truth is true. He said when you get through all your journeys, through all your awakening stuff, that all you're going to say at the end is, you know what, that was the truth. And that's what's happening to me right now. It's like, wow, this is the truth. I've been the only one making it hard. And the biggest mistake that I ever made was trying to be different from what I am. This is an experiment in seeing what it's like when you forget to love each other. This is an experiment in seeing what it's like when you think you're separate and different. This is an experiment to see what it's like when you believe you have no power to create your experience through love. So, would you like to go back to what we are? Has anybody else beside me had enough of the experiment? All right, good. I'm so glad. So all we have to do is hear the concepts as a sign of willingness, and then the healing happens. Let me give you an example. If you got your book, it says at the top of page 192, it says, well, I'm sorry, the bottom, page 191. It says the holy relationship in its broad form is eternity, the eternity of the embrace. If the embrace is the source of all, the one heartbeat, then the embrace is eternity itself. It is the face of love, its texture, its taste, its feel. It is love conceptualized. It is an abstract rather than a particular concept, even while having a seeming structure that your heart can feel. Concepts that cannot be felt with your heart are of no use to you. So if you have an idea that you don't feel, it's not useful. If you say you want something and you don't feel it, it's not a useful idea. Okay, thank you, God. And that means that they are meant for their usefulness rather than for their service. Concepts that touch your heart serve you through this touch. Concepts that touch your heart also begin to break you away from the need for comparisons. For there is no need to compare what your heart can feel. When your heart can feel, you need no judgment to tell you the difference between one thing and another. When your heart can feel, you thus can begin to quit relying on your body's eyes to distinguish the true from the false and the real from the unreal. Love appeals to you through the heart. God appeals to you through your heart. That's kind of interesting too when you think about how most of these type classes are usually exercises in intellectually trying to understand love and God. So usually in classes like this, everyone's trying to intellectually understand the truth. And then we're being told right here that the real appeal is going to come through your heart. It's going to come through how you feel about your ideas. That's good. Because what I'm trying to do now is clean house and get rid of every thought, every feeling, every idea that doesn't turn me on. It's like how some people go through their house and try to clean their closets out. I'm going through my mind, cleaning out the closet of my mind right now. And I'm letting go of ideas that don't juice me up, that don't excite me, that don't turn me on. I'm tired of not expressing my joy, and I'm tired of being in environments where people don't express their joy. as if it's something that's going to come to them outside of themselves. So they're waiting for it to show up. That's what I do. Wait for it to show up so that I can finally be happy. So I'm in a reality where most people are waiting for their happiness to show up. And they think it's going to show up if they're good enough. So rather than expressing who they are, they spend all their time trying to be good. Even though they're constantly seeing good people go through just as much stuff as anybody else. Because it's not really about being a good person. It's about being who you are. That's deep. And you are love. So it's telling us, how about you? Am I alone in that? Would you like to be in an environment where there is a lot of joy?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Good. Do you think you express it right now?
I do.
In this moment, how many of you honestly feel like you are expressing joy in this room right now?
Right now.
Right now.
A minute ago.
Or are you focused on you're tired because you worked all day? Or what it is you think you got to do later on?
Clean out my closet.
Yeah, when I ask these kind of questions, I'm just asking. I'm not saying there's a wrong answer or a right answer. It's that I know that the only way that I'll ever feel my oneness with you is that we communicate with each other, because without communication, you remain strangers forever. So to feel the oneness and the love that we all could be feeling with each other, it takes communication to create the joining that allows us to feel the love that we have for each other. And as long as we don't talk to each other, we'll never love each other and really feel the energy of love that's in this room for each other. As long as we're afraid to ask questions, afraid to make comments, afraid to look stupid, afraid to be mad, afraid to be happy, as long as we do any of those things, we'll never achieve the transparency that allows God to function through us and change our lives. Hiding ain't gonna get it. Hiding isn't gonna get it, right?
Right.
Right, you know, because you really can't hide from anybody that can see. It's just like me putting my hands on my eyes, and because I got my hands on my eyes, I'm pretending y'all don't see me now. So he's telling us, y'all got to get out y'all's head. When I say you, I'm talking about me too. I'm just saying you so it'll sound more personal when you listen back to it. Not you, like it's just you and not me. He says that your heart hasn't been open to the appeals of love. He said partially because of your use of concepts. Concepts have been used to order your world and to assist your mind in keeping track of all there is in your mind. Your mind does not need your assistance. Your mind doesn't need this assistance of you coming up with concepts that you're trying to use to make your world orderly. Your mind doesn't need you to try to come up with concepts in order to make your mind orderly. That's deep. So your mind doesn't need this assistance to begin to conceptualize in ways that touch your heart will free your mind. In other words, I need to be willing to come up with ideas or hear ideas that touch my heart, because the ideas that touch your heart are the ideas that free your mind. And if you want your mind to be free, it's very important. Do you know why it's so important for our minds to be free? Because our minds is creating our reality and our perception of our reality. So a free mind creates a free world. A free mind creates a free life. A free mind creates a free relationship. A free mind creates freedom, right? So the most important thing for all of us should be to have a free mind, because if your mind isn't free, you create things that limit you, and you create relationships that limit you, and you create circumstances that limit you when your mind isn't free. Now, what keeps your mind from being free? What keeps your mind from being free is focusing on ideas that you can't get your heart into, doing things you can't get your heart into, being in relationships that you can't get your heart into. That is what imprisons the mind. So if all day long I'm not doing anything that I enjoy, I'm actually limiting my mind. That's deep. So how do I get to that point that I'm focusing on the ideas that move my heart? Where you ask the question, what do I want? What do I really, really want? Not what society says I should want, not what it says I should want as a good parent, as a good employee, as a good child. No, I'm not talking about that. Get rid of all of that and ask yourself, for me, what do I really want? What would be the most divinely selfish thought I could have right now? What is the thought I could have that doesn't consider anybody else? Has nothing to do with looking out for nobody else. Not pleasing my mama, not pleasing my mate, not pleasing my child, not looking good to society. If I could ask for what I want right now, what I want, what would I ask for? Because God lives in the question, what do I want? That's where God lives. That's God's house. What do you want? Because every time you decide what you want, and check this out, every time you decide what you want, you just come up with another way that God's going to flow through you in your life. So what do you want is so important, because what do you want determines the intention you have for what can be created through the power of God inside of you. So if you're a person sitting around going, what do you want? I don't know. I just hope it kind of show up. Then you're going to be the kind of person that things happen to. What kind of person will you be? A person that things just happen to. All day long, things are just happening to you. And you don't know why. Do you know why? Because you don't know what you want. And as long as you don't know what you want, your life is going to be chaotic and full of unexpected events that throw you off guard and off center. And if you're one of those people that all day long is drama after 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 drama, you don't know what you want. You haven't asked for what you want. With your heart, right? He says with feeling. What you could get your feeling into. That's why people get so turned on when they meet somebody that they think is going to be the next person that really is the one. Why? Because of the way they feel. It's the way you're feeling. Don't you think? What is it that's setting that person apart, especially when you first meet someone and you all get ready to deceive yourself again about them really being the ones who are going to make you happy? Okay. All right. You get ready for a fresh deception. You're all ready for a brand new fresh deception. They got a new social security number. They got another apartment, the house, everything. It's fresh, the coolest deception. Hopefully this deception will look the way you like them to look. Because we don't like to get involved with ugly deceptions. Why? Because of the way you make me feel. The way you make me feel. And I don't realize what's happening is I'm seeing you and going, I'm making myself feel this. Ooh, I'm making myself feel this. Ooh, all that love I think is coming from you, it's really the love that's coming from me that I'm feeling, that I'm saying you're the one that's making me feel it. The truth is you don't need that person at all. But if I'm going to fool myself, I want to fool myself with somebody next to me snuggling. I don't want to feel loved by myself. That's what my mind says. So I need to get them to be there even when they don't want to be. Because this is what I think I need. What the Course is telling us is the ones you know the love is internalized through you, you can have it anywhere you are. There are people that are walking, I know I am, and I know I can't be the only one. I'm just trying to recognize people that are safe enough for me to love. Because I've learned that when you give people real love before they are ready, they perceive it as an attack on them and they become afraid. Because you're not acting anything like what they imagine somebody that loved them would act. So you got to meet people whose desire for peace is stronger than anything to be safe. You've got to surround yourself through your own thought with people who want safety and peace just as much as you do. And they want it so much that they're safe to love because they're not going to attack you for the love that you give them. They're going to look at it as just a witness to the love that they're giving themselves. Any comments?
Yeah, can't you be the other?
Can you be the other? Could you clarify a little bit more what you mean by that?
You said you need to surround yourself with somebody who wants the peace as much as you do in order to feel safe. How about if we stand in our godliness and be the one for the other?
But that's what I said at the very beginning. That the love and the peace is being generated from within yourself, from the God within you. But you could do it by yourself and know I'm the God and it's all the love is within me. No problem. I'm just saying I want to party.
Right.
So I want to also, in addition to with that awareness, allow myself to be around other parts of myself that also want the same thing too. So that I'm okay if I'm not with anybody, and then when I am, I'm surrounded by love. And all I got to do is be it myself, and that's enough. Just be it yourself, that's enough. The trick is when we begin to believe we know what's best for everybody else around us and what they need. The most important thing is for you to be yourself. The greatest gift you can give everybody is to be yourself. But most people are not being themselves. They are being their program. They're being everything society told them to be, and now they think that's what they are. And that's why so many people are sad. They're sad because they are following a script that does not reflect their true nature. What do you think about that?
I think it's true.
So wherever you are the saddest is where you're not following your true nature. And where you're the most joyful is where you are. So if you're trying to make a decision about something, ask yourself, do I feel lighter or do I feel heavier when I think about this or ask this? If you're thinking about a relationship right now, when you think about being connected to that person, do you feel lighter or do you feel heavier, like it's going into something more complex? Are you going, is it a simple relationship or is it a complex relationship? Is your job simple to you or is your job complicated to you? I'm killing them. I'm watching people nod off and about to fall out of their chair. Like, it's so funny. If you just start talking pure truth, people go to sleep. Because you're always saying something that they don't think. And it's okay. So I want to love y'all. I want to have a real relationship with you all. I want to wake up to God together. And I want to love you, and I want to reflect back to you your innocence, and I want to free you, and I want to support you in being yourself.
Cool.
And I would like to connect with people who also feel that way about themselves and want to join in that idea. So as we go into the next cycle of learning that's going to happen, that's coming up, it's going to be so intense that it's going to test my faith in the idea that I'm sustained by God and not by how many people come to my class. Because where I've got to go right now, it's going to blow everybody out who really and truly are not on the same wavelength. Because it's going to call for more personal involvement in our own awakening and practicing what we're doing with each other. And really wanting to have fun. I mean, really wanting to enjoy yourself. Because I really want to have fun. I really want to learn and I want to have fun. And I don't want to act like an adult. The adults are boring. They are so boring, you know. So when they think they are adults, let me clarify. Adults who believe they are adults are boring. Spiritual beings who know they are playing like they are an adult are fun. And they wake up and everybody wakes up around them. I want to get rid of the fear of love. I want to have love in my life all the time. And I'm willing to look at my own stuff, honestly. My own hate, my own fear, my own guilt, I'm willing to look at my own shadow and no longer pretend like I love everybody as a spiritual path, pretending like I love everybody and pretending like I can give freedom to people and pretending like I don't really want to manipulate anything or anybody. There's not a manipulative bone in my body. Okay, I'm going to get Chris and then I'm going to give you a chance. Yeah, Chris?
Yeah, so what's coming across my mind right now, because you said that we create our own experience and that so we create our own experience. And then, about the heart.
Yeah.
You're talking about the heart and how, we are the love, that we generate that love within ourselves, and we create our own experience.
Right.
And so I guess where I'm at is, like, I am not confused because where I'm at in my journey right now is that, when I make mistakes, I have been taught to believe that, guilt and punishment, but I'm seeing that doesn't work. So then, like, I've been encouraged by people that come to this course and do other stuff to embrace my creations and to, like, love my creations. And so I'm confused about that because, like, I'm not there yet. Like, how, like, because it's easy for me to, like, embrace and love, like, the good stuff. But how does one, like,
Okay, thank you. How does one embrace the bad stuff?
Yeah.
You allow it. You allow it. You go, this is what I feel right now. There was a person that got robbed today in the dream. I feel upset right now. I feel angry right now. I feel depressed about something right now. You embrace it by allowing it to be. You embrace it by allowing it to be. Because it is. So it's really you just accepting what is. It's all embracing is, it's accept. If I was to accept you as you are, that would be the easiest thing in the world for me to do, to have an easy experience with you, Chris. Would really just simply be, don't try to change Chris. Just allow Chris to be Chris. So the way you embrace the stuff that you don't like is to recognize that you're the one that made it, because it's your own perception. And it doesn't mean you have to judge it as good or bad. It just means you admit that you have the feeling. It just means you start telling the truth. It just means you stop pretending that you feel something that you don't feel to yourself. That's it. That's it. It's no more complicated than that. It's just telling the truth about how you feel instead of pretending that you feel some other way than how you feel to yourself. That doesn't mean you go around and tell everybody you see everything that's going on inside of you every minute unless you just want to. But frankly, I don't really think they want to hear it. Right? It just means don't you lie to yourself about what you're feeling in every moment. That's all. It's really good news, Chris, that you are the one that creates your experience. That's really the best news that you could possibly get. It really is. I know sometimes it seems like that's not good news, but that's really good news. What was your question?
You know, Earl, I think I already answered my question, but that I do want to say it. I do want to get rid of the people, including myself, that take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, and it's not condemning them. You're not being cruel because you choose not to be in a relationship with someone that you don't feel, or in a situation that you don't feel joy in. That's not putting somebody else down just because you are respecting their right to keep themselves as miserable and dull and boring and unhappy as they want to be. Because once you realize everybody's got a choice about their experience, you begin to immediately understand that everybody's being the way that they are just because they want to be and for no other reason. And since they're being that way because they want to be, because they really could change it if they wanted to, then you can just go about your business and do whatever it is you want to do, knowing that when they get ready, they'll also start doing it different too. So if you really accept that, instead of feeling like you got more responsibilities for everybody, you actually start respecting everybody because you respect their right to stay however they are as long as they want to be that way, because you realize the truth and you know they could change it. So actually you end up having even more fun in your life, and you're not walking around feeling sorry for everybody because you know that they could change it in a minute if they really wanted to. And that's so cool to empower each other by thinking that you're the way you are because you want to be and you could change it anytime you wanted to. I think that's cool. To like when I look at y'all and go, however y'all being right now, that's the way y'all want to be, and I honor you being that way, and I would love you that way and support you being that way as long as you want to be that way. But I know now that if I'm sad, if I'm miserable, if I'm unhappy, if I'm not letting myself have what I want, it's just a decision that I've made about myself. It's just me deciding that I'm not ready to have that right now. And so when I decide that I'm ready to have it, I'll have it. So I know that's true about all of you all, so therefore I can have compassion like you can have compassion for me, but then I can still go ahead and live my happy life as long as I want to, because I'm not trying to stop you. I'm not trying to interfere with you. Somebody that's loving you is somebody that's not interfering with you. Somebody that's loving you is somebody that's not limiting you being whoever you are and however you want to be. So the way that love is loving you is just letting you be the way you want to be as long as you want to be that way. That's what love does. So actually, people who love you are less controlling, and people who don't love you are trying to control you all the time. So people who believe love is fear and control, when they're around somebody that's not trying to control them or not trying to make them super duper special, they can't hang very long because all of their self-worth is coming from that being singled out. And if you're not doing it, you don't have any value in their experience. That's deep. But somebody who loves you, they're just going to be asking you one question. What do you want? They're not going to be telling you what you want. They're not going to be telling you what you ought to be doing. They're going to be asking you, what do you want? And it's the scariest question you can ask people. Try it sometimes. They're good at telling you what they don't want. They're great at telling you what they don't like. They're great at telling you who they don't like. But ask them, what do you want? And they just kind of freak out because they don't know what they want. And when they want to be a follower, it just means they want you to tell them what they want and then lead them to it. And then when they want to be a leader, then they don't want to listen to what anybody else says. But you don't ever know which role they're going to be in when. You don't know when the person wants to jump from leader to follower. That's what people get mad at us. That's what you get mad about. I think that the president should be a better leader when I want to be a better follower. But when I want to be the leader, I want him to listen to me. But it changes moment to moment. So, if you want to realize a lot of power tonight, tell yourself, I am no longer going to focus my energy on concepts that don't turn me on. And if it doesn't turn me on, then I'm not going to put any energy to it. It's got to move me. It's got to be something I can get my heart into. And what I can get my heart into is just getting deeper into truth and deeper into God. And deeper into people who want joy and want to know they're innocent and who want to explore and experiment with themselves in all kinds of ways to find out who they really are.
It's awful quiet.
Why do you think it's so quiet?
Well,
I'm just trying to let it all in.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Why do you think it's so quiet?
Because I'm asking myself, what do I want?
Anybody here sick or tired of being sick or tired? Yeah, Chris.
Okay, I have another question.
But you got to make them shorter and more concise, though.
Okay.
Okay, I don't mind the questions, but they take them too long to get out. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm an alcoholic, and I go to Alcoholics Anonymous. And I go to a lot of meetings, and lately, just the meetings have not been resonating with my heart.
Right.
And so, like, a part of me doesn't want to go anymore, and it hasn't been going. And I've been feeling guilty. But in AA, they tell you, oh, you need to go to meetings every day. If you don't, you're going to drink. And so what you're telling me right now is like, I don't know, it's like new for me, because I'm like, well, wow, maybe my heart's trying to tell me something. That, the meetings don't resonate with me anymore. And it's all right if I don't go.
Did you not say you felt guilty about not going?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's how you know you're making the wrong choice. You hear me? In other words, the fact that you're feeling guilty about not going means that you're making the wrong choice about not going.
Oh, okay.
Because if you were really following your heart, you wouldn't feel guilty. If you were really following what Spirit was telling you to do, you wouldn't question whether or not it was the right thing to do, and you wouldn't question whether or not if you were innocent to do it at any level. So one of the best ways to know when you're fooling yourself about anything is how much guilt you feel around it. But in the end, you're going to learn how to listen to your own guidance, and your own guidance will tell you specifically what to do in that situation. Because in the end, that's what everybody in the room's got to do. We've got to learn how to follow our own inner guidance and not anything from outside of ourselves. Everybody with me on that?
Yeah.
And the first sign of a cult leader would be somebody telling you to follow them, but not yourself, not your own inner guide. So you hear me, read my lips. This is all about you learning how to follow your own inner guidance and learning that it's through doing what you love, that you'll free your mind. That was the original premise that we were talking about. How do I free my mind? And when I free my mind, I'm going to free my body. I'm going to free myself. And it just said, well, what you want to do is you want to do the thing that appeals to your heart and let go of being reliant on just thought concepts. So you are trying to allow your heart and your mind to speak the same language. In other words, you want your heart and your mind to be of one accord, one purpose. It's like my heart is into sharing this and my mind is into sharing this. I'm not in conflict when I sit up here because I love what I do. I love what comes through me. So I don't get up and go, do I really want to come do this tonight? It's not even a thought process anymore. It is my heart. It is my heart and my mind joined on one accord. And when I made that decision to do that, from that moment on, which was 25 years ago, Spirit has always provided. And if you don't know what your heart is into, ask. What would it take for the thing that I could get my heart into to show up? What would it take for the thing that I could get my heart into to show up? You were not made to just work a 9-to-5 job. I'm sorry. You weren't made to just try to pay your bills. You weren't made to just try to have a vacation. You really weren't made to just diet. You weren't made just to have sex. You weren't made to be just a mother or a father. Do you all hear me?
Yes.
You know, that's not why you were made. That's not why you were created. You were created in order to extend love. And if you make that your number one focus, then whatever job you do in the world don't really matter, because you're going to be taken care of. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to be taken care of well, loved well, provided for well. Okay, that's all I got to say tonight. That's all I got to say tonight.
That was a
Would
lot.
you do me a favor and acknowledge you? Would you acknowledge you? I really love the people in this room. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you. You are saving me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We're going to do the love offering.